And we worked with other organizations in the community, in particular the Arts Alliance and the Historical Society. And with all of those parties in place, what we were able to do is take our budget and go out for grants and add to that for particular projects. And I just want to go very quickly through. The planner program started in 2008. Was the first year we did the planner program. This is the pots in front of the businesses in the downtown area. We have just completed the fall planting for this year. The butterfly sculptures, which I just call butterflies, those were put in place in 2008, 20 butterflies. City council wasn't sure they liked that idea. And by the time they got up and we started talking about auctioning them off, city council decided we ought to keep them. So, and we appreciate the council making that decision. This year, that was, David, was it 20 or 25? The initial group of butterflies?
I think it was 20.
I thought
I think so.
we have just added this year, 2017, another 10, and have taken the ones that were put up in 2008 all down, and they got a rest and a redo, and they're all back up now. So we have 25 scattered, 30 scattered around the city of our butterflies. The painted benches were put in place in 2007. And those benches are now enrolled in a rehab program. It's about time. They were painted by school kids, some very talented school kids, and they're now being repainted and refreshed by St. John's art students. So they're on a schedule where they'll do 3 a semester, and we'll roll these through, and we're providing the paint and a little stipend for them to do that work, and we'll have nice fresh benches out on the streets again. The sharing our stories actually started, and I'm really having trouble reading my writing, in 2015, we were anticipating the 125th birthday of the city. So sharing our stories was the wonderful idea of David Burke, and he first pitched this to the Community Foundation, wasn't it, David?
NEA, National Endowment for the Arts, was the first one, I think.
That's right, it was. Anyway, we went to several sources, and we began taking oral histories at the 2015.
You're right, Community Foundation, we did go.
Anyway, we conducted oral interviews with people telling their story about Hegel in 2015 at the Happy Days Festival, and continued throughout the year, picking up additional ones. In addition, the Historical Society had an inventory of oral histories that were done in the 80s and 90s. And so that combination of resources was used to put together a public art program. And we have just recently had the gallery crawl that included the ribbon cutting for 4 installation art pieces in our downtown area. And if you don't know what I mean, there's an archway in the old Dearborn Plaza. There's a piece, a huge piece that's in the Arts Alley. There is another piece that's at the north central entrance where you look down and see the shipping container in the Arts Alley. And there's one at the depot. These are all the result of a call for artists and a process that led to these installation pieces. And there's a story that goes with each of them tied to those oral histories. In all of these cases, we weren't the only one providing funds, but a significant portion of our Main Street budget was involved in these projects. And we've seen a transformation in the way our downtown looks, and we're very proud of it. The mural paintings started in 2010 with the aviation mural. In 2011, the Coca-Cola mural was added. In 2013, the Celebrate the Arts mural in the Arts Alley was added. And then in 2015, the outdoor gallery was put up at the depot. And that is a form of mural, but not exactly. But it is, all of those are part of an outdoor art gallery that you can see in our downtown area. The Southern Circuit Tour of Independent Filmmakers, the first year was in 1910-11. We are now in the 8th year of that program. And although the money for the touring fee has not come out of the Main Street budget, all of the support, staff support, other than community services at the actual screening. And there's a good deal of work and manpower involved in making that program work. That's come from our Main Street board. So we want to take a little bit of credit for it anyway. The gallery crawls, some of you may remember the precursor to the gallery crawls was in 2012, and it was the Art Walk. And that was a major project of the Arts Alliance with the new Art Center down on North Central Avenue. The Main Street program supported that as well as the city generally, but it was a major effort of the Arts Alliance. Since that time, we have had 9 gallery crawls and gallery shows in our community, all of which have been supported by the Main Street program in one way or another. I just wanted you to get a feel for the kinds of things that you get from our Main Street program. Thank you for the time.
Thank you, sure.
Thank you, John.
So the next thing that we're going to do is a meet and greet where you have an opportunity to meet Hapeville Main Street board members, as well as myself, and just discuss anything that you have planned or that you want to see with the Main Street. That is going to be announced at a later time. So just stay tuned for that. That's it.
Thank you, Bianca. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I might as well leave them off because we got another president. That was in a stretch. Everybody stand up and stretch for me,
Microphone or not?
please.
If you're going to speak on the microphone, make sure you bring it
Yeah.
up.
It feels like something.
I may not be able to bring it over here. I'm pretty loud.
Bow the Lord. Boat tour. Oh, okay.
There you go. You need to, it wasn't on. For some reason.
Yeah, we'll do that. All right, get everything back together here. Next presentation is on some software that would help streamline our meeting process, our agenda process and whatnot. With that being said, I'll introduce Laura Valtour from Board Docs. Laura?
Thank you so much. Let me see, I don't know if I need this, but I'll go with it. Does it help?
Yes.
Okay. Well, good evening, everybody. As you mentioned, my name is Laura Valtour. I'm with Emerald Data Solutions. We're the company that developed Board Docs. Now, Board Docs is a cloud-based solution. It's very easy to deploy. Think about, for the audience, for the citizens that are here with us this evening, think about the last time you went to the web page to get the meeting agenda and to possibly look at all the presentations that were there tonight that you saw that everybody did. And think about 6 months down the road, going and doing a search on the airport, Atlanta Airport Development, or District, right? Atlanta Airport District. Think about being able to see the meetings where we've talked about that. Zero right in where the lady Cookie, her first name was Cookie, right? Being able to type in Cookie and find that agenda item. And the same for the council members and the mayor and the staff. How easy is it to find the information, right? And that's one of the things, transparency and ease of finding information that Board Docs addresses for public governing bodies. Now, just a little bit of history. I know we've heard a lot of talking, so I'll try to make this entertaining. I'm not going to sing. But actually, Board Docs was born back in the year 2000, right around the whole Y2K thing. Our company was doing computer development stuff in the Atlanta area. Did some work with some pretty big companies. But Marietta City Schools came to us. And they said, hey, we want to do something so we can have our meetings online, because this is the biggest pain in the neck. Anybody on staff who's ever done meetings will tell you it is a tremendous amount of work on the back end to put together these packets and all the information. Long story short, we worked with them, Board Docs was born. And we're like, hey, there's other public governing bodies that have to deal with the same open meetings laws and have those same things done. I wonder if they might be interested in Board Docs as well. So it really took off initially kind of in the Southeast and grew nationally. We are very, very prominent in K through 12 public ed. Some of the biggest school districts in the nation use Board Docs. But think about it. Municipal governing bodies, cities, towns, counties, they all have the same open meetings requirements, right? And when you guys make a request for information, they need to provide that information for you. So what if we could make all of this easier? What if we could make it easier for Jennifer and the other staff members who put together the agenda? What if it took them less time? Then they could do other stuff that really adds to the efficiency of the government, right? Let them get things done that has more to do with being a better town or better city and less to do with linking up PDF documents and unlinking them because we got a last minute change, right? Redistributing documents. So that's kind of where Board Docs comes in. I know we've got at least one tech guy here because I heard his questions he was asking about the analytics on Google. But Board Docs is cloud-based. It's hosted in a professional hosting location. It's not a couple of servers in my basement. A couple of key things that are included with Board Docs for any organization. Number one, what time are we doing this meeting? In the evening, right? Technical support from 9 to 5 is not going to help the city of Hapeville if you have an issue with Board Docs during a meeting, which most of the time you're not going to, but you've got to have somebody to call. So customized, 24-hour day, 7-day-a-week support staffed by people here in the United States. We do not outsource it to another country. So support, customized on-site training for all the folks in the administration and city council members. We're going to come on site and do that training. And also included is all updates and enhancements. So when you think about a software program like you're used to thinking about, Board Docs is really more like a service. So I'm going to show you what it looks like. Just as an example, I mocked up this evening's meeting. So let me switch over here. Now, this is the Hapeville website, right? So if you were going to look at something, council members, if you guys were going to, prepare for the meeting, you might look at a packet that you get or you log into a protected area. For the public, you come here to government, right? And then you go to city council agendas and minutes, and I'll click on that. And then we've got, a lot of different boxes we could select from, or I could have also, I guess, just gone here and set agendas, right? So now I've got the whole list of agendas and I gotta find it. Now there is a search up there. I'm sure some people have used search. What would be different if the city was using Board Docs? You'd have that link just like you do now, right? City council agendas and minutes. And, maybe we'd make it be the agenda link. But bottom line, when we click that link, it'll take you right to the Board Docs site. The Board Docs stuff is its own site. It does not require IT resources to manage Board Docs, all right? It is truly turnkey. We don't need to take the folks off of their other tasks. One of the great things for Jennifer and the other folks on staff that work on the meetings, Board Docs allows them to be completely independent. They don't need to wait for somebody in IT to come help them. So anyway, bottom line, we'll link over there. Now, I've accessed Board Docs here as a council member. And if you take a look, I'm so cute, I put the Hapeville sign, right? Hapeville logo. There's some customization that can happen there with logo and everything. But here's the number one thing. Board Docs is designed to be easy to use. Think about the folks that are on boards. You have this wide range of computer comfort, right? You have school board members, think about teachers, you have IT executives who sit on boards, and you have retired grandparents, right? So it's got to be easy to use. And from the the citizen point of view, we're all different, right? But most of us can go and get emails and look at pictures of our grandchildren, right? Or look at pictures from our family. And now, of course, all of us with the kids in their 20s and stuff, now we're all on Facebook and they think we're old, so. So the idea is, here's the stuff that's most important today. That's something that Jennifer would control. And really, today, what's the most important thing if you were coming in to look at this? The meeting that's coming up, sitting right here. I don't have to select, I don't have to do anything. The view is the same for city council as it is for the citizens. I'm going to click on that meeting. And it brings up this listing. Look at this. Here's all the meetings we had. Now, if you remember what meeting it was that you want to go back to, you can come over here and go back to any past meeting you want. But if you're like me, I cannot remember stuff day to day. Never mind, month to month or year to year. Anybody, again, citizens, you guys, you can do this searching too. Right at the top, search meetings. So I'm going to do a search, and I'm going to put down my mic here. I'm going to do a search on somebody's name. Actually, this is my sister's name. She'd die if she knew I did this every time I do a demo. I just did a search on Allison Cruz. When did we hire her? 2 meetings out of all those meetings where we talked about Allison Cruz. Every single stakeholder has the ability to do that type of search. And when I click on that, it takes me right to the agenda item, and there it is. Okay? Now, there are some things that you talk about every single time you meet. So we may need to add some more words to that search. But here's the other thing. Board Docs searches all the way, let me come back here, searches into the documents. Think about a bill pay list. You want to go back and find, hey, what did we pay Acme Pest Control back in February? You can type in Acme Pest Control, February 2016, and go to the bill pay report. Think about being able to access information. If the local media person is here, being able to go back and search. they're sharing a tremendous amount of information with you guys, and they're using their web page more for file sharing. Board Docs is going to make this easy to access, save time and money putting it together for staff, and then make it so much easier for everybody. So here's what tonight's meeting looks like. I've selected my meeting. I've got these buttons over here. View the agenda, print the agenda, view the minutes. Now look at this. Watch the video. One of the things that Jennifer was telling me that's been talked about is, hey, we really were thinking about video in our meetings and how can we do that? How do we do it effectively without spending a gazillion dollars? Well, one of the features with Board Docs is it actually allows the city, for no additional cost, to leverage the one that most people use is YouTube here. Got a video in YouTube. We can index our video stored in YouTube right to the agenda items. Not only can I get to the video here, but I can go to a particular agenda item and watch the video just for that. And that's just part of the system. That doesn't cost $25,000. Easy to implement. I mean, honestly, it can be very, very easy to implement. And if you go out, a lot of public governing bodies are doing just that. It's not necessary to spend a ton of money. The View Minutes button, think about how nice that is. If the minutes for this meeting have been released, you'll see View Minutes button. If they have not, you will not, right? So easy to get to. Now, here's what the agenda looks like. And the screen's a little squishy, you know, because we've got a pretty small resolution. I don't know what you have at home, but think about this. I saw a gentleman over here had the agenda. This is the agenda. So instead of having a link and clicking on it and then that opens up in another place, with Board Docs, the agenda stays here on the left. When I click on an agenda item, let's come down here. Actually, let's come back here. ATL Airport District presentation, right? That's one of the things we just saw. Here's the agenda item. Look, it has a header. It's telling me, hey, it's a presentation. It's an informational thing. There's a little blurb, the ATL Airport District Destination Marketing. And then here's their presentation. It's in here now. So later on, if I want to just come back to it, I can go right to this. I could come over, do a search on ATL or AAD and probably get right to that. The organization can put any type of documents in there. Now, here I am being an overachiever. This time I put a picture from the front page of the Main Street organization's talk. And then I attached that below. Here's the idea. Instead of a sequential organization of information with stuff all over, each agenda item is like a box. In the box is everything that goes with it. It couldn't be any easier. And when you think about, there's another thing here that's coming after me. Here's me. There are 2 documents in here about my presentation. Here's an info sheet. You're welcome to go out. I believe it's actually attached to the agenda. It tells you all about Board Docs here. It also has a proposal. The other thing I wanted to show was, let me go here. Here's the background statement. So again, each agenda item is like a box. It's easy to find. And then I think it was, there's one of these that has a ton of information in it. We can have as many different documents in here as you want. Now you may see this, executive content. Think about closed session, right? There are some things by law that we can't share, right? So they're usually the big 6 or something like that. And that's what you're seeing here. There would be an executive area. So think about closed session. They might put, lawsuit files or land acquisition or something like that might go in there. Notice at the top, I can search, just like I could for anything else. Now the other thing that Board Docs will allow us to do is we can even put in each agenda item the goals and projects it supports. Think about this. Think about year end. We're all talking about, hey, what did we accomplish this year? What did we do? How do you do that now? How does staff do that? You go back and you pick through the meetings and kind of go, okay, this was with this project and this was there and this is what we've done with effective communications. Well, with Board Docs, we actually have the ability to track right in the agenda items and show exactly how they support our goals. Now beyond that, the last thing I'll show you, well, two last things I'll mention. Advanced searching, this was right up at the top. This is actually cool. Instead of taking me to the meeting, it'll take me right to the place, the attachment, the agenda item, whatever it is. So I'm going to do a search on Ford 2010. Let's say we bought a truck back in 2010. And we're like, hey, what did we pay for that truck? Board Docs just came back and it's telling me, hey, here's 4 places in your system where I found the words Ford and 2010. Now, if I look at what these are named, Proposed Vehicle Procurement Report, probably the one I'm going to look at, right? But there's also a JAG grant here one, there's something in the library, and then something in the comprehensive plan. So it looks like this is probably the right one, and I'm going to click on it and it takes me right there. Sometimes you're looking for one little piece of information. You don't care about the rest of the stuff in that agenda item. But you know what? If you did care, look down in the bottom, navigate there. And when I click on it, it takes me to the agenda item, and now I can look at it in context. So making it easier for us to go back and find information, no matter what type of stakeholder we are, making it easy to build history. The city can build history right into the Board Docs site. So as we move ahead, yeah, everything's going to be in there, but if we at least put the minutes in from the previous meetings, you know, a few years, then that stuff's going to be searchable too. And there's not a limit on how much you can put in history-wise. I have a county up in Maryland that put their minutes and their charter back from 1848 into Board Docs. Now, it's not searchable, they scanned it, but it's cool. It's got a high coolness factor, you know? So here we have, you know, going back there to that information. The last thing I'll mention, I'm gonna, let me just log out. Right now I'm logged in as a board member. And one last thing I'll mention for Jennifer and other folks, administrators. One of the things that you don't see when you're not in the office is, and you may have an inkling, is how much work goes into this. These meeting packets are very expensive to create, the staff time. And again, if they could be doing other things that were more efficient, you know, we could use the time and the money better. So I'm going to go here, and I'm going to bring up an agenda item, because I mentioned about the goal and project tracking. Now there's an area in Board Docs where we can put the goals, projects, whatever it is we want to track progress against. When you start using the system, you put them in there. Well, let's pretend like effective communication is the one we want to look at. So I'm going to come over here to an agenda item, and at the time that the agenda item is built, Jennifer has the ability to select from all the projects, objectives, goals that are out there. So now, when we build the agenda, we do that, it's right in the agenda item. Okay, think about that when you're looking at the agenda, being able to see, oh, this is supporting their goal of effective communication. Okay, that's great, but what's even better? This is a link. And when I click on this, no matter who I am, it navigates to that goal. I can see the supporting info. You guys take all this time and develop goals and put, you know, projects, what we're going to do. All that content can be in here. And then look at this. Here's everything we've done against our goal for the year, if it's a 2-year plan, for a project. Think about being able to do this and at the end of the year having that information available. So, I've gotten all excited about this. Built-in sharing, just social networking, everybody's talking about that, that's there. So when the agenda is released, it's going to be easy for staff to communicate, hey, the agenda's out. So that is Board Docs in a nutshell. So I am happy to answer any questions that anybody might have. Yes?
I think I misunderstood as it was related to video. When I was reading the document about halfway through, it was talking about embedding the video.
Yeah.
Does that also mean that it enables the live stream function through Board Docs?
It doesn't. Board Docs is built for the agenda management part, and then what we do is we allow you to leverage third-party providers. So the streaming would be through whoever you get to work with. As you know, YouTube now does streaming. The other two video partners that we work with are Vimeo and then Swagit. So to be clear, Board Docs is the best in class for agenda management, the base of this whole thing. You can then pursue the best in class for the video part and can keep it at a very reasonable cost. Yes, ma'am.
Can board docs ever be a physical management? You know, like if they have agenda items that they approve, budget line items, you know, whether it be a truck or whatever it may be, a project, and taking it further, where you went down and it's the goal set. Could you ever have a physical management component to that? To, you know, like you were saying about the consolidated plan?
Right.
Because that does have, you know, like budget amounts. and-
Information?
Yeah.
So are you saying you want to see that information in the agenda items?
Well, if you're searching, I'm just saying, if you're searching and you put in, say, a project,
Okay,
and you find the agenda item,
right.
and then you take it further.
And you click on the goal or the
Yeah,
project.
the goal and everything. And then take it further. If it's a specific project, could you tell
Are you
how
talking
much
about like
money?
grant tracking or something? Is that what-
Yeah.
Oh, okay, you're
How much
asking
is-
if it was then
Yeah.
gonna give you a total dollar value on that project?
Yeah.
No, it's
In the
not going
future.
to accumulate that. But for the city, it does allow them to export the information using some different tech tools on the back end, and then they could pull that information out from that goal and could actually manipulate the information and get a value there if they wanted to. So the information can be taken out of the system to manipulate further in other
And if you
systems.
have, like you said, a consolidated plan and other, you know, when you get, is there possibility in the future you could put another plan or like, you know, I'm just kind of thinking of the big picture.
Right.
You can make that for anybody to go in and do a search.
Mm-hmm.
If, you know, if the city, you know, board docs, everything is overlaid into it. You
Right.
can kind of keep up with a cumulative year to date.
Right.
Of anything that's going on by project specific.
There is, you know, there really, because the data sits there, honestly, anything could be done with it. Right now, here to, you know, back to your first question, it's not tallying these things, if there's a dollar value associated. That's something that would be a next step that they would do. It's something, you know, we may well see in the future. We have this list and we call it the list. And there's all, you know, all these things that would be great to have, and I could see where, you know, that would be another one that'd be great to add as well. Yes, sir.
Any of the stuff that you have that you pull up, are you able to copy it, make PDFs and print it so you physically hold it?
Yes, you can.
Okay,
Anybody else?
Council.
So I have a question. So when you
Sure.
put the PDF file or the PowerPoint in there, you can search inside of that PowerPoint.
Yes, there's some best practices that, you know,